everybody, it's Jay here, and today I'm here making a video with my mum. That's her, she's there, and I'm just gonna answer some questions about me being trans and stuff, because I don't know, I see lots of videos of guys putting up videos with their parents, and I think that they're good to see, because you know, you don't always hear what your parents think about being trans, and you don't always hear what other parents think about being trans, and it can be helpful. So yeah, let's go.
Here we are.
So the first question is that, do you worry more about me because I'm trans?
Not so much about you, but about other people around you, that maybe you might get bad reaction from people and that might put you in danger. But other than that, no.
Is it hard to deal with the concept of me being trans? Like, was it hard to cope with that when I came out?
Maybe at the start, because obviously I had no idea as to what transgender was at the start. So until you kind of find out a little bit more about it, like, it's maybe a little bit tricky. But once you start to understand what it means, then no, you just kind of deal with it.
What was the most difficult part of my transition, like, for you as a parent?
The most difficult part so far, I suppose, is probably accessing healthcare, because it's all a bit slow here in Ireland. So, you know, and having to get a psychiatric assessment and then going to the endocrinologist or whatever, it's all a bit slow. So that's probably the most difficult part. They're actually going into the school and telling them in the school or whatever, so that you could socially transition officially in school. Probably was a little bit difficult because I'm not great at kind of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So actually going in to talk to the principal and stuff like that. But like, you know, it was fine.
Yeah, like it worked out fine in the end, so it wasn't like a big deal.
Yeah.
But do you think that it's unfair the way the system is here?
Yeah, a little bit, but I think it's improving. And I'd say the only reason it's bad at the moment is the numbers and lack of education and stuff like that. So all that stuff is going to improve in time. So hopefully, you know, maybe in 5 years' time or in 10 years' time, like where there's kids coming out or whatever, hopefully the system will be better by then. Yeah.
Was it easy for you when I started T? Because I know that when I came out first, I was like 14, so that's like over 2 years ago in reality. And I know that it's been over 2 years since I came out, because I came out like 2 years ago, like a few days ago. But I know at the time you were very keen on me starting T, like you weren't very up for it. And then eventually you came around to it, like you weren't very up for it at the start though.
Well, you see, at the start when you come out first and you don't fully understand what's involved, and you know, all I have in my head is you putting drugs into your body and how, like, you know, how is that going to affect you, and having to take drugs for the rest of your life, and you know, that all sounds like bad. But when you move forward with it and you understand what's involved and, you know, what side effects, if any, there are and what benefits there are, well then, you know, by the time you were 16 and able to go on T anyway, it was a little bit better. It was fine. Yeah. You know. You were most definitely ready for it. Was me and your dad were ready for it too.
Was it easy for you to let me go on T?
It was at that stage. I think if it had been a year earlier, maybe it wouldn't have been. Yeah. So I mean, I think it kind of worked out well for us in that when you came out, you were only 14. You had to wait till you were 16 to go on T. So it gave us time, although that time was probably a killer for you. It gave us time to kind of deal with the situation and get used to it, and so it was all fine by the time you were actually going on it. So it's fine.
Did you ever worry that I was too young, or that it would just be a phase? Because I know that when I came out, the first time I came out, I was liking girls. You said to me that you worried that I was a bit too young, but
well, I suppose at the time when you started talking about let's say sexual issues, let's call them, I kind of when I was 14, obviously I wouldn't have even considered anything like that. So that's why I kind of thought, oh God, now are you not a bit young to be thinking
yes,
about
that sort of
stuff? That was back when
you're
I was a boy.
Cis and straight.
No, but that's not the point. I suppose times were different. That was
absolutely.
That was 30 years ago, like, you know, and, you know, it was a different time.
Give away your age.
But I don't care.
The internet now knows.
But just a phase. Yeah, probably. It probably is. Initially, you probably think, "Oh God, maybe it is." But then when you start talking about it, and you hear about other kids, and you know, got into the group of talking to other parents, you realise that no, this isn't a phase, and what you have to go through to transition, you realise, well, if it was a phase, you wouldn't do this. It's not easy. So exactly. You would, as you say, you wouldn't be arsed. Okay.
How do you feel about me wanting like top surgery and like a hysterectomy and stuff?
Okay, but again, because we have to wait.
You're glad of it?
Until you're over 18, I'm kind of happy about that, because like again, it gives us all a little bit more time to figure out, like, you know, where best to go to have it done, like exactly which procedure maybe is best to do, you know, where it's going to fit in with school, leaving cert, college, whatever. So it just gives us time to figure all that out. So other than that, no, it's fine.
Yeah, like
I know that's what's coming down the line, so you know,
you're
just
ready.
The way it is. Yeah,
you're prepared for it in the future. Just
right
now.
Yeah.
Like, I know myself that I'm not really ready to like get top surgery. Like, I'm in this place where I want these things to be done, but I don't want to do them.
Yeah, because
I'm at that point where I want it to be complete. I don't want to actually have to go through the completion of it. So I have to. I know that I will get to a point within like the next while where I will be like, okay, no, like I actually want to do it. I don't care if you're coming at me with a knife. I'm here. Okay, you know. How did you react when I came out to you first?
I don't think we reacted badly. We got a letter thrown at us, and then Jay ran out the door. So myself and your dad kind of read the letter, and you kind of said to not talk to you for 24 hours, which is just ridiculous. How would you expect a parent not to react to something like that, to wait 24 hours to react to something like that?
So, it's supposed to give you time to think about what you're going to say.
Well, that's only
so you don't say anything fucking dumb.
Don't say anything bad. So I just checked and say, we love you, it's fine. You know, we'll figure it out. It's all good in the hood. So that was fine. It wasn't a huge shock, I suppose. It was just that we weren't familiar with the terminology. So we, you know, you've always been like a tomboy, as people would have said, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like
that was a pretty.
It wasn't like you were going from frilly pink dresses to all of a sudden saying I'm a boy. So you know,
like, to be fair, there was quite a lot of a running trend when I came out was like, that's not really a surprise.
Yeah,
it wasn't really a surprise to anyone. Were you surprised at how complex transitioning is? Like, were you before I came out to you, were you still in that mindset of like, oh, trans people just get this surgery and suddenly they're trans? Like,
well, I didn't really think about it because I didn't really know anything about transgender at all, so it wouldn't have been on my radar at all. So I didn't know anything about it. So I suppose, did I think it was complicated? I suppose when you look into it and you kind of think about the number of things that need to be done, from social transitioning and name changes and stuff like that, to, you know, hormones, to like operations, like there is a lot of stuff, but you know, it stands to reason when you think about it that there's going to be a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, you're in a female body with female names and what everything that goes with that, and you want to change to be in a male body with a male name, so there's a lot of stuff that needs to be changed.
Do you think that you always knew I was trans in reality?
No, purely because, as I said, like, you know, trans wasn't on my radar. Yes, I knew you'd always be kind of, you know, that kind of tomboy, that you were never going to be a girly girl, but like, that's all I thought it was. I wouldn't have considered it being anything else because I didn't know there was anything else.
Do you think there were signs that I was trans when I was a kid?
Looking back, yes, of course there was. Yeah. But like, you know,
you weren't thinking about
it at the time. So like, where some other parents have kind of felt guilty about the fact, like, that why didn't I notice this? Why didn't I deal with this earlier or whatever? How could you know? How could you? Like, you're looking after your kid as best you can or whatever. If you don't know that transgender exists, how could you possibly know that there was something else that you could have been doing for your kid?
And like, to be fair, it wasn't like I It wasn't like I, as a child, said I was a boy.
Yeah. No,
I never went out and said, like, okay, I'm a boy, until I actually came out to you when I was 14.
Yeah.
Like, when I was younger, I didn't really have that kind of... That wasn't where I was at. Like, some kids, like, they come out when they're, like, 3 or 4 or 5, because they're constantly saying to their parents, oh, I'm a boy, I'm a girl, I'm this, I'm that.
Yeah.
Whereas I wasn't like that. So, it was more just like, I was a masculine kid. That was it.
Yeah.
Do you think transitioning in Ireland is harder than it should be?
Yes. Again, as we said earlier, I think that has improved maybe over the past few years. So, and from what other people are saying, it's definitely improved even from before, we were in the system. So, I can only assume that another 3, 4, 5 years down the line, it'll improve even further. So, yeah, hopefully it'll be better.
Do you think that our relationship has changed since I came out?
Not really. We're probably a bit closer because, like, I'm
not hiding anything from you.
I've been the one, like, who's kind of going with you to stuff.
Yeah. Because, like, my dad's always busy with, like, work and stuff, so, like, Mum tends to be the person who's, like, going with me, like, into the courts to get stuff done. I work
part-time, so I'm the one who has the time to go and do this stuff.
So, like, whenever, like, there's, like, endocrinology appointments, you're there.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So
we probably get to chat a little bit more, maybe, than...
Yeah, and, like, I always find that, like a lot of the different, like, services that we have to avail of are, like, quite far away. Like, the endocrinology unit is, like, an hour away from our house. And, like, the trans support group that's once a month for the parents as well is, like, an hour and a half away. So, like, we do end up talking more about, like, trans stuff and just normal stuff.
And there's long drives.
So, which is like, we wouldn't normally have done that before.
So generally speaking, Jay does more of the talking than I do.
Yeah, I basically just sit there and talk because, like, you give out to me for not talking to you.
But, like, as you can see probably from previous videos, Jay talks quite a lot.
Yeah, I do. So, like, it's not like it's a problem.
Okay, move on. Next question.
What advice would you give to other parents of trans people?
The only advice would be to support your child. Go with whatever your child is doing. Obviously, there are limitations depending on what their ages are as to what you can do to help them. But, like, just do whatever possibly you can do to help your child, to support your child. This is not going to go away. This is not a phase. And if for whatever reason it turns out to be that the child changes their mind, so what? You can go back. Like, this isn't, until the stage where you've actually had surgery,
you can always go back.
You can always go back. And by the time they're having surgery, like over 18, they will most definitely know what they're doing. So, just
when I was
support your child.
If you'd been able to, when I came out to you first, when I was 14, would you have let me get hormone blockers? Because those are reversible, like, nothing, like, it would just delay puberty. I wouldn't have puberty while I was on
possibly, but probably not straight away, because, like, I was still dealing with the whole idea, and it kind of took me a little bit a while to kind of figure out, well, okay, the best thing to do is to actually go down the hormone route, be they blockers or be they T or whatever. But I suppose initially, probably no, and you told us first, like, no, I didn't want any of that stuff to happen.
But, like, the blockers wouldn't have changed anything.
Yeah, but, like, having
more
any kind of immediate treatment like that involved any kind of drugs, to me would have been a no-no. At that stage, when I didn't know enough about being trans, I didn't know enough about what's required and what treatment you need to have done. But in time, then that's why where some kids, like, they want everything done straight away, and they don't realise that the parents are kind of dealing with how this is going to affect their kids. It's not the parents are worried about themselves. They're only thinking about how this is going to affect their kids for the rest of their lives. And as I said before, putting drugs in your body and whatever.
Yeah, like before.
Generally, you don't like to have to do if it's not necessary. Yeah. So until you realise that it is actually necessary, then you may.
Yeah, like before I came out, I didn't really have much sympathy for parents because I didn't really get it, because obviously you guys didn't know. So I didn't know what it would be like for you guys. I didn't have much sympathy for parents who weren't, like, 100% on the same page with their kids. But, like, once I came out to you guys, I kind of realised that there was, like, you guys do have to deal with it. There is a degree of dealing with it for you. Even if it is, like, my life, there still is a degree of dealing with it for you guys. And you guys still have a degree of like responsibility and such, especially because like I'm still a kid.
Exactly.
Like you're the one saying, okay, it's okay for him to do this, that and the other. I'm okay with him doing this, that and the other. Like, if it ended up being a phase and I decided I want to go back, that'd be on your head.
Yeah.
Because you would have let me.
Yeah.
So like, you can see, like, when you do come out your parents, like, you can see, you can have a bit more sympathy for parents, because I just didn't have any beforehand, and now I do.
I bear in mind that, like, when you come out to your parents first or whatever, you're 10 steps ahead. Somebody compared it there the other day to, you know, being on a train and the kid is in the front carriage, but the parents are like right back in the last carriage and they're not catching up. So it takes a while, like, to catch up.
Yeah.
In fairness, when that was mentioned, then another parent kind of said, never mind the last carriage, we're about 2 stations back. So, like, you know, Jesus. It just takes a while for the parents to catch up with the stage at which the kid is at, like, information-wise and, you know, knowing in their own head that this is what they really want.
Because I had already, like, been, like, involved in the trans community for, like, 6 months before I came out to my parents. Like, solid. Spent 6 months doing trans stuff on the internet before I ever, like, went with got telling you guys. I don't really know why I didn't tell you guys sooner, because I didn't think you were going to react badly or anything. I just didn't.
Okay.
I'm not really sure about that, so yeah. Either way, yes, this is the video. This is still my mum. I'm still Jay. If you liked the video, click the like button. It's down there. I hope YouTube never changes its layouts, because then my pointing will be irrelevant. If you want to subscribe to the channel, click down there. You can also watch more of my videos by clicking on the little logo down there. So thank you for watching, and goodbye. I'll see you next time.